while we're on the topic of insiders, let me finish our slide deck with this. This is what the insiders have been doing for the last several months. In March, this is what the selling was. How many people here know what a bullish engulfing candle is? Okay, great. If these were candlesticks, would that count as a bullish engulfing candle? Would that count? Would that count? Would that count? Would that be a massive bullish indication if this were a chart on a stock? Of course it would. Now this is not a chart on a stock. This is insiders selling or insiders buying. You can see that the red is the selling, obviously, and that significantly overpowers the buying. Consumer goods, technology, services, basic materials. Let's go to April. Financials, technology, services, healthcare, everything, everything. May. The numbers are incredulous. Let's go to June. Look at that. I don't mean to laugh, but I mean it's staring us right in the face that everybody who knows anything is leaving the party early, while we keep drinking the punch. There we go, there's the last 90 days. So, theory of insanity, let's just say everyone is wrong. All the signals, all of the economic indicators, the economy, let's ignore that too. Brexit, let's ignore that too. Let's ignore the insiders that own Google and Amazon and Adobe and everything. Let's ignore them as well. Let's ignore the corporate high-yield bonds buyers. Let's ignore it all. They're all wrong. Or are they? I mean, this is really kind of it's almost silly when you look at it in this perspective. Let's just, you know what, maybe this comes from insidercow.com. There's a report that I pay for. Let's look at something that's free. Let's go to FinViz. Let's look at the insiders there really quickly. Maybe that website's wrong. Let's go to FinViz. Let's just look at the latest insider trading. See how much green that we see versus red. Okay, well, maybe that's wrong. Let's look at the top insider trading. Right, so the largest transactions happening from any insider in the entire market. Oh, there's Amazon, not the strongest company in the market yet. That's selling $750 million, okay, from the CEO, I see. Now, we've been looking at this same blend of green versus red ratio for months. No one is putting their own money in this market. The only buying that we can see is corporate buybacks. So, scary stuff. Now, we're going to talk about, take some Q&A here in a moment. We're going to talk about some of the stocks that we've been trading based on this information. But this is time to get excited, time to get prepared. A bad market is certainly nothing we would will upon anyone. There's friends, and I'm in Kansas City, Missouri at the moment, visiting people that this would certainly hurt if this was to occur, which I wouldn't will on anyone. But if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And as traders, we need to accept that, and we need to plan for it. Someone said to me the other day, one of the guys that I have followed for a while and in some of the Forex commentary, and he said, Moses didn't build his ark, or excuse me, Noah didn't build his ark the day before the flood. And the people that they made a movie about in The Big Short didn't come up with the idea and execute it the day before it happened. You can't time all of this to that pinpoint accuracy, but you sure as hell won't make absolutely any red pennies off of it if you think you can do all of that after it happens. You have to prepare for this. And it could be a week away, it could be a couple of weeks away, it could be a few months away. I don't think it's going to be that far off. We are getting some serious cracks in the foundation right now. And I've spent a lot of hours, probably at least 4 or 5 hours a night for the last 6 weeks, doing nothing but researching the best possible shorts. So we are ready. That's where BMY came from. So that we're ready to act when these things start to drop. So we know exactly what puts we're ready to buy as soon as exactly what support is broken. That's what we've been doing. So I said that we were going to talk about, before we go to the Q&A, I'll tell you about how you tap into that. The key focus of Acorn is and always has been efficiency. I've talked about a lot of complicated and maybe fundamental type metrics that probably a lot of you don't even want to bother with. And I get that. That's great. You know, the reason that I tell you all about that stuff is because I want you to have an understanding of why we feel it's important to be prepared. It's not just to sell you something. It's because this is what we genuinely are doing ourselves with our own money and our corporate money. And if we're going to have another 10 years in business, it's going to be because we make you money. You know, this is important stuff. And but you don't have to do this type of research every day. This is the background of the market. Once we understand the background of the market, we then start putting together strategies to take advantage of that. Now, there's a book I read called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. He asks, how do you make money? Are you rich? And the standard that he talks about is not by how much money you make, but how efficiently you make it. As a trader, I would say the same thing. I talk to so many people who don't trade pocket aces. They're smart people, well-educated people. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on education. But they still sit in front of the computer taking bad trades because it's the best they could find. You've got to get out of that. Why trade a bad trade? It's not quantity of trades you take that make you money, it's quality of trades. When you start to utilize scans, well, firstly, let's go back from there. When you start to define exactly what makes a great trade, then you can utilize technology to find it. When you can utilize technology to find it, you will find most of the best trades in 30, 40 minutes that you would have spent crawling through the market spending 6 hours. You won't find every trade using a scan. I get it. You might miss 40% of the trades out there that could make you money tomorrow by running a scan. I get it. But would you prefer to spend 30, 40 minutes finding the best 60% of the best trades? Or would you prefer to spend 6 hours finding all of them? What would you pick? Do you really need to find every single possible trade that's going to go up tomorrow or down? I would much prefer to spend 1/10 of the time and find the highest probability slam dunks that meet every criteria that makes it perfect. Yes, I'll miss opportunities, but it means the only ones I take fit all of the perfect criteria I'm looking for. It also means that all of the trades I take have very much the same look. Let me show you a day trade I took today, for example. One of my favorite strategies is fallen angels. I love these types of stocks. This is on the weekly chart, VNet. Big fall, beautiful scoop at the bottom, and here's where we got our entry signal. Was actually back here when it first broke through, but then a second entry signal here yesterday when it broke through here. So it went from a low of 955 to today a high of 1072. Yeah, I think the market's going to crash, but there's a beautiful opportunity to pick up a 12% two-day profit. If this breaks the 50-day moving average, then we're looking at a rally on this at least to 1152, but more likely up towards the 1348 mark, if market situations permitting. I would be looking at a lower target than that. I'd be looking more underneath the $13 figure. But there's a great fallen angel. Now that scan took to find that trade to take that 10% pull from the market in the last 2 days took me like 5 minutes. It was the second or third stock on the scan that we ran. Here was another one, and this was a day trade. Hang on a second, let me just pull it up. This was a day trade I took today. This is cool. This is the same kind of thing. Look at this. It went from oscillation it broke that downward trend line up the big drop, scooped, rallied. I picked it up today. Picked up 10,000 shares, and I'm long this. And this is another such trade. Same pattern, bullish. Came up in the scan last night, looking for a target of 47 cents, or 20%. Probably will hit that tomorrow. That's the process. Is to have every trade kind of look like each other. Reduces workload, reduces stress. So let me get to the point. So this is the big pitch. You know, this is what all this leads up to. Now we're going to talk about take all your questions and go through a number of stocks to talk about how this situation applies, and obviously welcome to throw some stocks at us as well. But what this workshop is all about is really turning everything we've discussed tonight into an actionable strategy. We haven't taught this live since February of last year. It's been an on-demand course, and we've completely redone it, and we are relaunching this as it's a totally new course, but with everything that we've taught before plus a lot more done for the first time in well over a year and a half. And the first lesson is next week, Wednesday. Now this lesson is going to be focused on whatever the most important strategy is to teach you on that day. So if the market is still holding bullishly, then what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to locate the smart money trades in the fashion I've been discussing tonight. How do we locate those really sweet long trade setups? We're going to go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if you can't stay for that long, it will be recorded and sent to you. And we're going to be teaching. We're going to firstly teach you the rationale of how we build scans. Forget the market conditions. This is a course in general. We're going to teach you how to build scans. What do you look for when you build a scan? What indicators do you use? Because you have to consider conditions, triggers, fundamentals or technicals. Like, how do you build your own scan? How do you start? What do you do? How do you do it? What do you use? You know, like the first part of this whole course is to teach you the how and why behind how you even start to wrap your mind about that, wrap your mind around that in simple terms. Step 2 is to say, right, so once you figure that out, how did we go about it? And what did we start building for a long or short scan? And we're then going to go into how to identify when smart money is buying on a chart, and how to identify when the best situation's coming around and what to wait for instead of reacting to. What are these high probability setups? What are the steps that we go through to not simply say, I want to take a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio. All right, so I want to sell at 12, the stock's at 11, so I'll put my stop loss at 1070. That doesn't work. You don't get to tell the market where support is. Your stop loss should always be beneath support. If you arbitrarily pick a stop loss because you want to risk X amount of dollars or X percent of your trade, then you're probably going to get stopped out, because you're probably putting a stop loss either at a useless place because it's above support and you're going to get stopped out, or you're putting it too far beneath support, you're taking more risk than you need to. Your stop loss should not be based on anything other than where support is. And that is the first step. Then you figure out where resistance is. That's the next step. And those are the two things you can't control. You cannot control where support or resistance are at. You can only control one thing. What is it? You cannot control your stop loss. You cannot control where resistance is. What can you control? Your entry. So once you determine where your entry and exit plan would be, all you have left to do is figure out what entry price works for that risk reward. And that might mean the trade may never trigger. But these are the types of plans that we take you through, because a lot of people enforce their will on the market. Oh, I missed the turtle. Bonus. So what are the bonuses we're going to throw in there? Is we obviously know that this is going to be a learning process as you go through these 2 live lessons. Again, it's 2 lessons, one next Wednesday, one the following Wednesday. They're both going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And one is going to be focused on the short scans, one the long scans. Depending on what is most opportune for the market conditions when Wednesday rolls around. Whatever's going to be the best value for you to learn first, in other words. In the meantime, you will receive a written report as well as a video report tonight summarizing the positions that we're looking to trade right now or may already be in, whether those are options, stocks, no matter what. You will get that as a full written report of everything and a video report of our favorites for tonight going into tomorrow's market. Now these have all been analyzed with all these scans. They come from our scans, and we'll also tell you the options, entry, exit, stop positions, everything that you need to know. That you'll get tonight. You're also going to get an option when you go through that enrollment process. You're going to get an option to add what's called the Smart Money Scanner series. You'll see it's $9. What that is, I highly recommend you take it. It's only $9, but really what that's going to do is it's going to give you a month of access to our live trading rooms Tuesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And look, it's not a gimmick. If you don't like the service, you email us in 3-4 weeks. Say cancel. It's a click of a button. You don't need to talk to anybody. You just email us. So that's there, and that basically on top of the sessions, you will also get access to a daily, or it's most days. It's not every day, but almost every day we send you a video telling you exactly what we're looking to buy and sell with entry, exit, and stop positions. So that's something that is of high value as well, and that's obviously as you're learning the strategies and the scans, that's going to be something that you get to see us using every single day, picking out the best stocks from those scans, and obviously an ongoing commentary of the stocks that we've discussed. Okay. Next, two other little things we're going to include. I shouldn't say little things. Two other things we're going to include is one-on-one training. Anyone here in the room who's been involved with us for a while knows that what we're known for best is our one-on-one training. There's a huge difference between teaching and mentoring. We could take 100 people, tell them the exact same thing, and we could have 50 people that make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we could have the other half of the room lose it. Obviously, sometimes people think they know correctly, that they think they've interpreted something correctly when they haven't. It's usually as simple as not drawing trend lines correctly and not interpreting the chart. It's usually simple. So once you've gone through the course, we're going to include two things for you. One is the open range video. This is a lesson that we teach that is a strategy we've used now for the last 5 years in every single trade we do. It is a 1-hour lesson that will show you a strategy of dictating where the S&P 500 will go next on a monthly basis to 80% accuracy. Now that might sound pretty crazy, but in that lesson we'll teach you the strategy, and then we actually go back over the last several years and show it to you, back tested on every single occasion, and you will see how it works. It is it's unbelievable that something can work like that, but it does. It's called Open Range. You will not be able to find it on Google, but that is what it's called. It is one of the most powerful indicators we use for predicting market direction, and that is how we decide whether we should be running the short or long scan on a daily basis, is using that. You will get that as part of your package tonight. You will also be, one of the things we'll also include for you is that one-on-one coaching session with us, which is normally $197 on its own, as is the open range training. And that's something we'll also send to you. So once you've received your welcome email, there'll be a little, there's a one-on-one new student form to fill out. You fill that out so we know who we're dealing with and what type of coach to set you up with and things like that, based on what you want to learn. And you'll have your own mentoring session with us to really make sure that the pen's put to paper. We'll go over to the questions here in a moment, but let's see. What is your worth every penny, says Robert. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I think that's, is that Robert S? I think you're in almost every one of our workshops, mate. Oh, hey, Robert, how you doing? Good on you. Source for that was Insider Cow from the Insider Trading. Can't the market stay irrational longer than we can stay liquid? Dennis, great question. Yes, it usually can. That's why when we're accumulating long-term option positions, we're like a lot of some of these plays. I'll share one with you. Take a look at this, like ATVI. I'll leave the link on the screen. Sorry there, Dennis. Let me leave that on the screen for you. Yeah, it's acornwealthcorp.com/storm, I should say. ATVI, Activision Blizzard. Now, if you want to know something about insider selling, there is more insider selling happening in application software than in any other area of the market or any other industry in the market really at all. Specialty chemicals is a close second, but software, gaming, stuff like that, it is attracting huge amounts of selling. Now, ATVI is in an upward channel, which should break down. This is the high probability breakdown move. Now, so that's a bearish pattern in itself. Let's go to the weekly chart. Oops. What pattern do you see here? Anyone? What pattern do you see here? Thank you, Lars. Great. We'll see you on Wednesday. Michelle, great. Yep. Michelle's in. Michelle, yep. We'll see you Wednesday. What pattern? Head and shoulders, exactly. Can I put the link in the chat box? Yes, I can. Yes, exactly. That's a head and shoulders. Now, most people don't see the head and shoulders until it's already a head and shoulders. Do you think, how much value does that have? Not much. The real money is to be made predicting it when it's just about to show up on everyone else's scan. You can do it because there's a recipe to it, just like a doctor. Would you go to a doctor whose last credentials were he cut someone open up and said, oh, hypothermia, he's dead? I realize that's a dark joke, but no one goes to a doctor who can figure out why the person's sick after they die. You know, there's no value in a stock analysis tool that tells you what the pattern is after it's already happened. the real value of being on the edge of anything, whether it's medicine or stock trading, is being able to predict things early. Sorry for my dark sense of humor there. But that is a scenario. Too much Monty Python, perhaps. But yes, this is a scenario where we're getting the early signs of a big problem for this stock. And when we go into the you can see the money flow. Does anyone see what's happening with the money flow? Oh, sorry, wrong link. Sorry, guys. I missed the C. acornwealthcorp.com/storm. Sorry, guys and girls. Give me one more second. This keyboard keeps sticking. acornwealthcorp.com/storm. That's the link to use. No worries. Now let's go and have a look at the insider trading. So ATVI. All right, insider. All right, let's have a look at the insider trading on this. Can anyone see anything that stands out on this chart? Do you see that? Big time. This is look. So this is something. Unbelievable selling. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable selling. It's in a sector that's had huge selling off. Technology. It's a bubble waiting to bust. They're making games. They're not curing cancer. They're not even trying to. This is gaming software. This is this is a very high P/E ratio as well. We're in a bearish pattern on the weekly chart. We're in a bearish pattern on the daily chart. When we have a look at the daily money flow, you'll see divergence. It's already broken down. Look at the daily money flow. I had the weekly up before. Look at the daily money flow. Falling out the back door. Right? Now, so how would I play this? This is the kind of thing where I'm just going to go and I'm waiting for it to break that trend line. But as soon as it breaks that uptrend line of the channel, meaning that's a breakdown, I'm going to be going and picking myself up some February $38 puts. I could also go and buy myself, if I look at the target, right, the target could be the target on a head and shoulder pattern like this is as much as 12 bucks. Now you can go and buy, I think it's 2250 puts for January of 2018 for 60 cents, I think it is. I have to double check that, but I was looking at that earlier. So, I mean, we've got a year and a half for it to drop and complete a head and shoulder. I can put $1,000 in that and have possibly as much as 2,000% upside. I can risk 1,000 today, and a year from now could have $20,000 as a result. This is the kind of thing we're looking for. Now, this is going to be mostly what you learn in the short scan, obviously. The long scan is going to be teaching you things like, let me see, teaching you things like this. Now here's a great example of a long that we would teach you to find. So quick question. Let's apply the same rationale. What pattern do we have on this chart, on the weekly chart? That's right, falling wedge. declining contracting range, which is a bullish indication. So bullish weekly chart. Let's go to the daily. You'll see the same thing. Massive rally, massive rally. We were back at support, massive rally. Let's go back further and look at the value of that $9.30 support line. Well, do you see it? Massive rally right from there, there, and there, all coming to the same point. That's the kind of long trades we're going to show you to find. Couple questions. All right. I'll show you a couple of testimonials. This is from last time we had our big event. We've actually been preparing for this for the last few weeks with our students, our Acorn members. But last time we did a big webinar like this and invited you in this type of way. These were the we published a similar list called the Christmas wish list, and this was some of the comments. I truly am glad to find you guys. I shared it with anyone. I do think you could probably throw in some statistics to show how successful your selections were. Diane C. Kirk, I forgot to mention I've doubled my accounts with your trade recommendations from the Big One class and Christmas wish list. Again, it's exactly the same list that we're sending out to you tonight. Wanted to tell you guys how pleased I am with your services. 115% of the main trading account from I think that was November through March, sorry. And the IRA was a different one. Can't remember when that was from, but either way, anything doubling account within a year is pretty spectacular. The record there is 11 wins, 1 loss, 16 wins, 2 losses. Hi guys, I wanted to thank you for your diligence and for sharing your exceptional analytical skills with your ignorant masses. I just sold my May and June target puts for $12,750 profit, got into target late last week. My May puts are up 500%. I'm holding several gems. I'm pinching myself. My wife thinks I'm a genius, and of course I'll let her believe that. Love you guys, and so forth. But that's what it's all about, guys. It's about preparing you for those types of things. Might happen next week, could happen next month, but in the meantime, whatever the market does, we'll prepare you for it with the best scan to take advantage of that in the meantime. Okay, if you had it, sorry Dennis, Dennis, you've ordered the program but got an error message when you tried to add the $9 option. No problems. Just send us a quick email and we can add that for you. No problems at all. Where do you get the Twigs money flow from? Mark, it is in our software, but you will, even if you don't want the trial of the trading room, the indicators are included in that $9 add-on. It's called the Smart Money Scanner package. It's $9. It includes a month of the trading room and alerts, as well as the Smart Money Twigs Money Flow Indicator programmed in Think or Swim, Metastock, TC2000, and TradeStation, I believe. So you'll be able to install it. Okay, let's have a quick look. Any other questions? Just purchased the course. Oh, good to have you, Jim. Lovely to have you. Yeah, just click when you see the option. Just yeah. You'll also get a reminder in your email if you missed it there, Arthur. If you missed it, just check your email. You'll see the little reminder in the email saying if you missed the $9 offer, you can add it on. And look, we're not the type of people that want to drag you through the unnecessary stuff you don't need or use. And so if you don't find it valuable, just cancel it. But one thing I do ask you is, I'm sure you're all inundated with so many different emails from so many different people, wanting to sell your stuff and trial the trade picks and things. One thing I can promise you is we are sincerely committed to you succeeding. We have, at Acorn, we have a group of about 400 or 500 people that have been with us for years. They don't all attend the trading rooms. They don't all attend every live session, but they've never left us, and it's because we did a really good job with them at the very beginning, and it's stuck. Please take advantage of all of our support services. But the one thing I would ask you is please do pay attention to the emails we send you over the next couple of weeks, and please do try out the live trading room where we break it down for you, because we're all busy people, but once you see kind of what's really going on beneath the scenes here, and we have a bit more time to get straight to business and talk purely stock trades, there's a lot of stuff that I think you'll find interesting. Do you have any service to assist with managing retirement accounts, longer-term swing trades, using indexes and funds? Certainly, Kumar, we do have strategies and so forth, and coaching services more oriented towards that style of analysis and trading. Just pop us. I'll pop our email up on the screen. Just shoot us a quick email, and we'll be pleased to answer you. And probably the best thing for there is just to chat with Strath. He's 78 years old. He's one of my senior analysts. He's brilliant, but he's much more a longer term guy. But he's a gem. What do you make of the sideways of the markets for the last 15 days or so? That's been terrible. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I haven't made, up until the last several days where things have gotten back to normal in terms of activity with the alerts we found. It's been a flat couple of weeks. I don't think we've had really any profits. We have had profits, but those have been offset by losses. I mean, it's been an unprofitable 2 weeks. So pretty boring, and not much to say about it. I'd love to tell you we made millions of bucks and we fooled everyone, but I think that most good traders have all been frustrated with the last 2 weeks. But it's now coming back to the markets we're used to. A lot of the stocks that we normally see rocket started moving. We started to see the shorts that should drop start to drop. And so, yeah, you really can't get upset at the market when it has its kind of spaz attacks, as we say in Australia. It had its little fit. It didn't do anything, and now we're going to see which way it shakes out. But the beautiful thing about the way it's moving at the moment is we're getting longs that are going up, and we're getting shorts that are going down. So that's the true test of a strategy, is when you can perform outside of market direction. The problem is that there just wasn't a lot of things that were moving. So yeah, look, I'm not bothered by the last 2 weeks. I just think it's just what markets do. It's what the stock market is. Don't fight it. Just let it happen. Keep your powder dry. And the objective of trading is not to make money every day. It's to conserve capital. And it wasn't a high probability place to trade for the last 2 weeks. That is changing now. Could I review what's covered in the scanning course? Sure. The things that we're going to be covering is an overview of smart money patterns, why they rank the highest in all market conditions. So we're going to be talking about why we scan for what are the best things to look for, why they're the best money things to look for, the core characteristics of high probability patterns. Because obviously we don't just want to teach you how to find stocks. We're going to also teach you what to do with the list when you get it. How to identify the exact entry and exit prices to give you the best risk reward without missing the trade. The process to confirm and track the strategy so you're not guessing, you're simply following rules. And most importantly, how to bring in the smart money indicators and other parts of research we do to give the extra confirmation. Very important. The things that we're going to be learning in terms of scanning is we're going to be teaching you how to the factors, criteria, and the thought process behind, most importantly, the big one scan, which is where we look for stocks that are set to potentially drop 20, 30, 40, 50% over the next 12 months or sooner, and how we target option prices, how we pick out of the money or in the money stuff, and how to go about that. So we call it the big one scan. That's what you will probably be the biggest piece of value if I were to rank things that you'll take away from that. And then in the long scan session, we're going to be teaching you how to find stocks that are moving against the trend, that still move up despite bad markets. Pharmaceuticals are a great example. This is one that I'm in right now, DRRX, that just looked great. And that broke out here just recently, and that's when we got into it, and we've rode that rally all the way up. What was the other one? AMCN. This was one of our long alerts a few days ago, about 3-4 days ago. Again, it's a bump and run formation, came up in our long scan. It dropped, plummeted from a beautiful kind of handle, created the frying pan at the bottom, and as it broke through the moving average there at 274, that was something that was a great buy. And that's just skyrocketed. It's closed at 332, up 60 cents in just a few days. So, and one of the final comments I'll leave you with is that you must remember that I'll start to finish up with, it is not a stock market. It is a market of individual stocks. And you will always find stocks that go up even when the market goes down, and you will find stocks that go down even when the market goes up. And that is what comes from your strategy. And your strategy is derived from having specific things that you look to identify, which if you know, you can build into a scan, and we're going to share ours with you. Does that answer the question, Mr. or Mrs. Mater? I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a Miss or a Mrs. I apologize. Why do you use Twigs rather than Chaikin? I know Mark Chaikin. We've worked together on a number of collaborations. He follows my strategies, and I follow his. We're quite close to each other's thought process. He's got a great indicator, which is Chaikin money flow. Twigs is an alteration of that, which accounts for gapping. So it's actually built off of the original Chaikin money flow indicator. It just accounts for the gaps of stocks a little bit more closely, and so it gets a better read. Does your scanner automate the scanning requirements, or do we use our own platforms? We can give you ours. We can give you platforms that do it for like $5 a month. It's not our system; it's someone else's. We don't make any money from that. You can set up with the program I'm using here. It's like $5, $6, $7 a month max, which is cost of one trade. It's definitely worth having, or we can help you set it up, and we'll give you the criteria to set up in your own system. Also, some of the most valuable scans that we'll teach you for the shorting side of things are actually done in a free online service, which we'll be introducing you to on Wednesday. So there's absolutely no one that shouldn't be able to take advantage of these scans whatsoever. Okay, any questions that you have for me before we before we finish up here? Any stocks that you'd like to throw at me?